I wish so many people didn't have the opinion that a returned item
Mm,
was broken, right? There's so many different reasons why people buy it and take it back. And so once they return it, and once these companies decide, okay, we're gonna unload it,
mm.
off into uh, the secondary market. Let's talk about that. So walk me through what a retailer will do, just loading up a truck.
Yeah.
Like, kind of walk me through
So
that.
usually it's going to happen at a distribution center. So the crazy thing is most stores, if you're doing in store, do not generate enough returns to store it there and then ship a whole truckload to someone because usually these are sold by the truckload. Usually it's going to take the returns for the day and they're going to send it back to a fulfillment center. That fulfillment center is going to separate those returns into different pipelines. So usually it's based on size. Then they're going to also try to take the things that have to go back to their vendors. And then there's some things that the liability is too great. Medicine, food, a lot of that they're just going to trash because it's not worth the risk to have it go on a
Right.
secondary market. So a common example would be like, and maybe it would depend on the food, right? So if you're shipping a food item from Amazon, a lot of times that won't end up in the same market because the risk is the supply chain of custody has been broken. So you're not going to risk it. So these distribution centers are going to separate it into the categories. One, so it ships easy. Two, that's what they have to do according to their agreements. And then they need to make sure that whoever's buying these has a way to resell them. And each one of them have their own specialties. So usually size and cost will all depend on how they separate these out. Now, once they separate them out, they usually have agreements and contracts with a variety of people, usually liquidators of one way or another, who are going to buy those. And then it's going to end up in auction houses like ourselves. It's going to end up on liquidation stores. It's going to end up on Whatnot. It's going to end up on eBay. It's going to go all over the place.
So they load the trucks up,
Mm,
and typically, let's say I wanted to buy a truck.
mm.
So they load the truck up. There's a thing called a manifest, and there's a thing called
Unmanifested. Yeah, unmanifested.
unmanifested. Creative.
Yeah.
So I can buy a truck with a manifest, and a manifest is basically a list of every single thing that's on that truck.
A rough
A
list.
rough
A
list,
rough list. Yeah.
what's supposed to be on the
Supposed to be
truck.
on
And then unmanifest is just they pack the crap out of the truck, and here's the price they're asking for it. Now, for the most part, um, any business, anybody with a business license can buy these trucks,
there. Mm,
and they can either buy them directly from the retailer, or sometimes the retailer will use a broker,
mm.
to broker the truckloads. What's a typical truckload of returns cost if I wanted to buy a whole truckload of returns?
It's going to vary greatly. So manifest will always be more expensive because someone took the time to tell you what's in that truckload. So somebody had to scan it in and grade that manifest. Those will usually be sold based on percentage. So it could be as high as 50, 60, 70% if it's the right industry. So cell phones are going to be a very high percentage that you sell it at. It's a very in-demand product. The margins are slim, but the profits
Sure.
realized, right? And you could go as low as 5, 6% if it's a less desirable or more broken item. So let's say you bought a furniture load, that's obviously going to be cheaper because there's more room for it to be broken.
And so they price the trucks pretty much based off a percentage of retail, or possibly a percentage of wholesale, just depending on how
Yeah, it
they run
depends.
their numbers.
So manifest almost always be percentage wise, and then if it's unmanifest, it's almost always going to be a flat rate. Just honestly, depending on the market, you might get something in Phoenix, Arizona for one price and have a radically different price in Indiana. That's going to depend on shipping
Interesting.
costs, what and different distribution.
Distribution.
That's not what I want to be saying. Distribution.
Distribution. That's funny.
Got OnlyFans still on my mind, I guess.
Uh,
So you have distribution centers, right, where they do a better job than others. So, for instance, the Home Depot here out of Phoenix, they did a wonderful job for a long time of making sure, like, if it's trash, they're not even letting it get to the liquidators because there's no resale value for them. So they
Sure.
want to make sure the liquidator is getting the best possible product so they can move it fast so that they can buy another load because the distribution is driven by space and time.